want to bring in the great Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. There's not a better institution in the city and not a better guy and a better hammer than Tom Fitton. Tom, by the way, you're the future FBI. You're a nomination for future DNI or FBI picket or CIA. But maybe you do DNI so you can wrap them both up. Tom,
I'm
what?
suspicious that we need either agency, but I'm a kind of
Hold it. No, that's exactly why we're nominating you, brother. What are you talking about? I want that in the confirmation hearing. What do you mean? We got a minute. We're holding you through the break. Fitton, get us up to. You've done more. I got Fitton and then Solomon. The two guys have done more on this than anybody. Fitton, walk us through what happened on Saturday. These announcements in regards to Judicial Watch's investigation.
Well, we know Hillary did it. We've always known that. We know we did it. She did it to protect herself from the emails. Now we know that the Obama administration, someone it looks like, gave her gang the keys to the Trump White House, practically speaking, and allowed her operation to have an insight into the operations of the executive office of the president, and then share the fruits of all of that work, according to what Durham is suggesting, with the CIA. I'm not aware of the CIA, Steve, objecting or highlighting or blowing the whistle on that criminality. Instead, they took it as part of the parcel they were using to go after Trump and overthrow him. This is further evidence of the coup involving not only Hillary, but these other government agencies. And what the accountability we need from Durham, it's important he gets people like Sussman and company. But I'm still waiting for the overlords of the deep state to face accountability through this Durham process, but we'll see.
We're going to take a short commercial break. Tom, you said something in kidding, but I mean, look, I think, and I know the President Trump thinks so highly of you, right? And Judicial Watch has done such a magnificent job on the resources that you guys have, what you've done. It's the People's Justice Department. Seriously, the FBI and the CIA, you saw the domestic terrorism notification they put out last week. I mean, what are your thoughts about that, about actually having an FBI or CIA?
Oh, I think the FBI needs to be radically remade, maybe dismantled, given its horrible record in protecting the homeland and abusing the powers entrusted to it by the American people. And of course, it's a creature of the Justice Department, which has long been a locus of evil when it comes to public policy in our federal government. I mean, these agencies are no friend of liberty, and under the best of circumstances, they barely are able to do their jobs. And then you see the HHS and the associated entities start targeting tens of millions of Americans as terrorists. I mean, we're worried about what Trudeau is doing. He's following Biden's lead in targeting his political opposition and just labeling terrorists out of the get-go, out of the box. It's just incredible. And these agencies, they were horrible under Trump, and under Biden, I think all bets are off in terms of they're completely unleashed because Biden isn't really running the government. So it's a free-for-all in terms of attacks on our civil liberties and threats and intimidation.
Mark Elias, look, he's around fighting rearguard actions all over the country to try to, the Democrats can't win unless they cheat, right? They either have to have mail-in ballots that you can't verify, you got to have uncertifiable ballots, the ballot harvesting, all of it, okay, all of it. And Mark Elias sitting there, he's fighting the redistricting that should come about. He ain't up in New York trying to get an even match there, although Kathleen Rice just resigned. Suck on that, Mark Elias. This is another district, we're going to blow him out. Elias he was Hillary Clinton's, that was like Don McGahn to me, right? Don McGahn was our chief counsel on the campaign. This is why we had everything set after the victory in 2016. It was bulletproof. They couldn't come and contest any of that, although they were tight wins in Michigan and Wisconsin and even in Pennsylvania. But Mark Elias was the head guy. Is Mark Elias going to get wrapped up in this thing? I mean, didn't Sussman report to him? Isn't Sussman his Grundoon?
Well, what's interesting about that is, it was Sussman who went to the meetings and gave, evidently, according to Durham, the false information to both the FBI and the CIA. And magically, Elias wasn't at those meetings. So I'm sure Sussman's wondering, why am I the only guy on the dock here? And maybe because he committed the crime that Durham can prove most easily. And we'll see if Elias gets a pass. Reportedly, he's testified already to a grand jury. But you also have to remember Elias didn't just represent Clinton, and the firm generally didn't just represent Clinton. It was the Democratic National Committee's firm, and it was DNC party money that was also partly funding this operation against Trump. So you not only had Clinton pushing this, you had the DNC, at least on the Fusion GPS side, evidently providing money for that operation. And of course, it was a joint operation with the FBI because they were also paying Christopher Steele through their campaign. And then they told him, and then they started leaking material about the investigation of Trump that they had concocted to Steele, even though they knew he worked for Hillary. And of course, that was leaked almost immediately. I don't know what's worse, Steve. I mean, is it worse that Hillary was abusing the law to spy on Trump, or that our FBI and other federal agencies were, with the acquiescence and, frankly, endorsement of Obama and company? I don't know what's worse. I tend to think
no. It's definitely the second. It's the second. It's definitely worse. Hillary's a crook. We know that. That mafia. I mean, Tom, you and I worked on that for 10 years, right? To go after the Clinton regime. When I was at Breitbart and you were at Judicial Watch, I mean, we had those we expect that of the Clintons. They're mafia. We got that. I'm talking about the administrative state. Like I said, I don't call it a deep state because it's in your grill, and you've done more than anybody exposes. Just walk us through. I got a couple minutes. I got the process here, because we can't depend upon Durham. God bless him. Whatever he's doing, it'll be whatever it is. But once we take power in November of this year with the House, what is Tom Fitton? What are the one or two things that have to happen immediately to start to get this scum out of these major institutions, the FBI, the CIA, the National Security State, DOJ?
Well, under the current Republican leadership, nothing's going to get done. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I've been around too long to pretend that the same group that allowed it to go on during Trump's years are going to turn on a dime and stop it during the Biden administration. And even if they wanted to stop it, they couldn't get documents from the Trump administration with the way DOJ and others were operating. So I don't expect much. I think what we need to focus on is ensuring that senior government officials who committed crimes are convicted and sent to jail. I mean, we talk about all this crime wave in our urban areas, and we rightly say, well, it's happening because people aren't being punished appropriately. People are being let onto the streets. So why would we be surprised that any of this is going to stop as long as these folks are able to operate free and clear? I mean, the Sussman indictment's important in that regard, but Comey was given a free pass by Barr. Hillary was given a free pass by, frankly, both the Obama Justice Department and the Trump Justice Department. So why would she stop? I would think this is all going to accelerate, even if Republicans take over. I really do. And one short-term thing that can be done, I think, to kind of push things along, is to get the process going against President Biden's corruption. One of the scandals of our time is that there's no special counsel for Joe Biden. I mean, we were all supposed to be falling on the floor at the idea of a conflict of interest in the Justice Department investigating the president. Well, his son is under criminal investigation. He's implicated. The evidence is he was in on it, and there's no special counsel. So Garland's obstructing justice by refusing to appoint a special counsel. And once that special counsel gets going, maybe in 3 years we'll get some redress like Durham has done. Look, I'm pleased Durham's finally doing something, but boy, is it late? Is it late in the game?
Tom, how do people get to you, social media? How do they get to Judicial Watch? How do they learn more about it? Because you guys represent
we are
the best
all
institutions
over
in the city.
We are Getter, Rumble Video, Telegram, YouTube, Facebook. We've been censored and targeted and suppressed, so we ain't going anywhere. And people not only need to support Judicial Watch, but they need to read the material. I mean, I've got a book, A Republic Under Assault, that nicely summarizes the findings we had on these issues. I mean, what we're hearing about now is awful, but what we already know is even worse. So let's not forget that. the FBI and Hillary Clinton, with the support of Obama and Biden and Comey and all the rest, targeted Trump knowing he was innocent. Nothing like that has happened in American history before in terms of the using our national security apparatus to target a candidate and then president like it happened with Trump. And there's got to be accountability for it because our country's at stake. The name of the book is Republic Under Assault. Our republic is tottering, Steve.
Yep. Let's get this. We're not going to lose this as long as we got fighters like you. I got to say something too. You talk about accountability. She's addressing the New York state party convention because she's gearing up for 2024. They understand they can't put Biden up again. Hillary's back. It's like those vampire movies the kids watch, right? The vampire never gets killed, right? You keep
she's never left.
A stake in the heart.
She's never left. Obama never left. Hillary never left. I used to joke about the Trump administration in the early days. I was always waiting for it to come to power because too often it was the Obama administration seemingly still running things.
That was the great memo that was done. We had 90 Obama appointees over at the National Security Council. Tom, I appreciate you coming on. Fantastic. You're a patriot, a hero, and a warrior.